For the past 11 months that she's been dating this guy, she has not entered the guy's house. The guy has not invited her in. Also, on Sundays, she says that on Sundays, when they come back from church, the man will bring his children and sister to the house. She will be left in the car. The man will go and change his clothes. And if he spends 1 hour upstairs, she will be in that car and the car will be running for 1 hour. She has never been invited to go into the guy's house. And she said that the guy is always in her house every day. Hello, it's another week and you're welcome to Life Stories with Busi. I hope last week was awesome for you. I pray that this week will be amazing and the Lord will fulfill all your heart desires. So I just want to say thank you. The views are rising. I'm beginning to see an increase in the views. I just want you to continue to send the link of these videos to your friend. It's very simple. Just go to share and then you just copy the link and then you forward it to wherever you want to forward it to. It's very easy. It won't even take you more than 1 minute, and you can just take it like that and just forward to as many people as you can. So you can forward to your friends, your foes, family, and your loved ones. I'll really appreciate that. Okay, so today I have another story and I'll just go straight in the story. The lady did an audio and this story was quite long. So if I decide to start reading it from my laptop, it's going to take a while. But I think I remember most of the things that she said and I'll just break down the story. The purpose of this story, the lady would like to be known as Jane. Jane is 44 years old and she had a baby when she was 16. She said she wasn't forced or anything. She was experimenting with love at that time and somehow at 16 she got pregnant and then she had a baby. So I mean, if you deduct 16 from 44, you know that a child is quite grown up. So that child is grown now and the child is independent. She's working in another city. So Jane is the only one living alone right now. She has a very fantastic job. That's Jane. Jane has a very fantastic job, and she said that she's always on her own, very single and all that. So before now, when she was 31, she was in a relationship with another guy, and that relationship went on for almost 11 years. So she discovered that this guy had a commitment phobia, and it did not look as if they were going anywhere. There was no next steps, nothing. So sadly, she had to move away from that relationship of 11 years. So imagine that she started that relationship at 31 and it took her 11 years to realize that that guy wasn't going to commit to her. So she decided to walk away. So 11 plus 31, that led her to 42 years. So at 42, she was single again. And then part of the things that she decided to do was to see a therapist. So she went into therapy, and after some few weeks with the therapist, she was diagnosed with a trauma response called fawn trauma response with uncontrollable hyper-empathy. Fawn trauma response with uncontrollable hyper-empathy. I checked it out. The fawn response is a trauma response where someone tries to avoid conflict and establish safety by pleasing others. It's also known as people pleasing or appeasement. And it says that example of fawning: agreeing with others' opinion, doing things for others to gain approval, being overly reliant on others, having trouble saying no, ignoring your own needs, caring for others rather than yourself, responding to criticisms with praise. So basically, she found out that she had this trauma response where she was overly empathetic, meaning that sometimes, even if she doesn't have money, once she knows that somebody has a need, even if she doesn't have that money, she can go and borrow money for the person. She can empty her account for the person. If somebody is injured here, she can get home and be feeling the pain. Yeah, that's how bad this diagnosis is. So she found out that she had that, and she realized that truly that was how she was. She she could spend her last money and even go and loan for somebody's problems. So she discovered she had that, and she discovered that with her last relationship, she actually was like a mother to the man. She made sure that she gave the man everything, that the man became very lazy. So the man was dependent on her. She was the one doing everything. And because she had a fantastic job and she could afford it, she kind of made the guy laid back. And so she was the one doing everything. So the guy wasn't even ready to commit to her in any way at the end of the day. You get? So that was what was diagnosed. Okay, so going forward, so she said that because of that, she just thought to herself, okay, she needed to take things easy and all that. But she was lonely, and then life for her was just work, church, back home, work, church, back home. She needed to do a lot of certifications, a lot of courses. She was trying to use the courses and the certification, to try to block the whole of her loneliness, and all that wasn't just working. She was really lonely. She said when she gets home, she just locks the door. She has nothing to do. She didn't have friends. She had family members, but she couldn't really tell family members what she was going through and all that. So she was committed in church, and then in church they organized a program for singles. And during this program, they decided to separate the singles into two parts. Singles are 40 and above, and the younger ones. And then she gradually went for this event. And when she got there, she said because she didn't have any friend or anything, she sat alone. But at the end of the service, they were talking about logistics and carpooling for people who came. So they were talking about the fact that, if you stay in this neighborhood or you stay in that neighborhood, meet so and so, meet brother so and so, meet sister so and so. That day, her car wasn't good, so she went to fix her car, so she took Uber to church. So when we were talking about carpooling and things like that, and they were mentioning areas, she decided that, okay, there was no harm in going with the people who were going towards that area. So she walks up to the place where she was supposed to meet the people who were going to her area, and it turns out that it was just one guy. So let's call the guy Brother Femi. So she meets this guy, and the guy was like, oh, where do you stay? She said she stayed somewhere, so they were like, oh, okay, that's on my way. And then she hopped in the guy's car and they started going. So they started trying to make conversations. And then she said that one of the first things that she discovered was that the guy was mixing his tenses. So he was making a lot of grammatical errors. And apart from that, the guy had a very, very, very heavy accent. That alone was a put off for her. And she just made conversations for the purpose of making conversations. So as it went on, the guy showed her where he stayed in one estate, but she was still going further down. So she was interested in that particular estate because she had learned that properties in that estate were cheaper than an estate that was more expensive, but that this particular estate where this guy was living, that they had more facilities than the estate where she was living in, though that estate was more expensive. So part of the things she also heard about the estate was that most of the tenants had become owners of the properties there. So she wanted to know whether the guy was one of those people, and the guy did tell her something about having an arrangement with his landlord. The guy didn't come out right to say that he was a tenant in that estate. He made it look like he also had a property and maybe was paying with mortgage or something like that. So she told the guy that, oh, are there still properties left, that she was interested, and that did the guy know any agent. So the lady was interested in getting the number of one of such agents so that she could actually make inquiries about the properties in that estate. And the guy did say, oh, he had a phone number on one agent, but that he didn't have it on the phone with him, that he had it in the phone at home. And the lady was like, oh, I would love to have it. So the lady collected the guy's number. The guy, that's Femi, told Jane that Jane should call him to remind him about the agent. So she collected the number and then she went home, and that was it. So some days after, she decided to call for the purpose of the agent. She said she wasn't interested in the guy at that point or anything. She didn't have any emotional attachment or anything to him. All she wanted to do at that time was collect the contact of the agent so that she could make inquiries about the properties. So the guy started calling her, and then because they went to the same church, the guy would see her, the guy would offer to take her home, and she told the guy that she was sorted, her car was sorted, sure she had a car, but the guy kept on insisting that, oh, it's okay, I can always speak you don't have to take your car, I can always speak you to church and all that. From that discussion, she learned that the guy was a widower, and that the guy had children and all that. So they became friends, they talking regularly, and before long they started being more than friends. They started being intimate. So what started happening was that the guy would come from home with his family, that's his children, and his younger sister. He had a younger sister who was like 30 years old. And they would pick her up at home and then go to church. And then when they are coming back from church, the guy would go drop his children and the sister at home, and then come and drop this lady, and then it will stay back. It will stay back at the lady's place. It would eat lunch, have dinner, sleep if he wants to sleep, and then wakes up like in the night and then goes home. So they started having some sort of relationship. So they started dating, and they became intimate. And when they started becoming intimate, she was telling the guy that, guy, we cannot do this. We are Christians and we are workers in church. The guy said, I would actually like to marry you. I want to marry you. I don't want a relationship. I want to marry you. But that he cannot marry anybody yet until a particular milestone passes on the death of his wife, whether it was the anniversary of the death of his wife or whether it was their wedding anniversary, something. I think the milestone is the anniversary of the wife's death, and it was supposed to be the 50th or something like that. And the guy said that that one of the things that he had planned was that he wasn't going to propose to any lady or marry any lady before that time, but they were intimate. So he was saying that, well, I really want to marry you. That's what I want to do, and I want to see your family and things like that. So they continued. But one of the things that the lady found funny was that every time they would go to Femi's house to drop Femi's children after church and Femi's younger sister, but he never invited her into his house. Now also living in Femi's house was Femi's elder sister. And when she was like, who is this person? Femi was like, oh, that's my elder sister. Femi did not say that the elder sister was actually a widow or anything. No, he didn't mention. He just said, oh, that's my sister. She stays far away, and then sometimes she comes to visit me. It was later she found out through Facebook that the lady in question is actually the elder sister, and that she was a widow, and she had 4 children or so, and she was also living in that house. But the funny thing about their relationship, because when I asked the lady, I was like, okay, so do you have a relationship with these ladies, the elder sister and younger sister who is in the car? I said no, that she doesn't have any relationship with them. The elder sister, when she greets, the lady just goes like, good morning, madam, like condescendingly call her madam, kind of. And then the younger sister doesn't talk more, apart from good morning, good afternoon. Maybe sometimes she gives something, maybe she buys a drink in church or something, like that. The younger sister too doesn't talk to her. So they don't have conversations. They're not friends. Okay? So, I found that very hard, because I'm thinking to myself, if a man really loves you and he loves you and he wants to marry you, he would have told his siblings that, that lady in question, I'd love to marry that lady, right? And, so the siblings will have a way to be talking. In fact, the sisters will probably be the one that will even pull her in to talk, So I found that angle very disturbing. For the past 11 months that she's been dating this guy, she has not entered the guy's house. The guy has not invited her in. And every time she goes like, when am I going to come into your house? The guy will say something like, why must you come into my house? Don't you better come to your own house? You don't have to come. What's the big deal? You don't have to come to my house. I come to your house. I'm always in your house anyway. And she said that the guy is always in her house every day. Every day, the guy comes to our house, the guy will eat dinner, sleep a bit, maybe a bit of, the other room, a bit of that, and then the guy will go home. Now, another thing that happens is that if the guy comes to a house for any reason and the children are in the car, he doesn't allow his children come down from the car to enter our house. The children will stay in the car. So whatever he comes to do, he does it at a house. Whatever he comes to do in a house, maybe he comes to pass a message or anything, it will come in, the children will be in the car, it would discuss what he wants to discuss, and he goes home. The children never come down to enter the lady's house. Also, on Sundays, she says that on Sundays, when they come back from church, the man will bring his children and the sister to the house. She will be left in the car. The man will go and change his clothes. And if he spends 1 hour upstairs, she will be in that car and the car will be running for 1 hour. She has never been invited to go into the guy's house. She said at a point she felt maybe because that was a house that he shared with his late wife. And she was like, since we're going to be getting married soon, because the guy had gone to visit our siblings, our auntie, our uncle, and some family members, and that he has told them that he will come with his family so that they can start the introduction and all those things. So she just felt, look, we're getting married and I have not entered your house before. Okay, fine. Even if you don't want me to cross to your room or anything because of the memory of your late wife, I'll sit down in the sitting room at least. But no, the guy said that there's no need for you to do that. You don't need to come to my house. I come to your house every day. Why do you want to come to my house and stay? That is one angle. I mean, all that had been happening. But I think one of the things that triggered her recently was the fact that she said the man's younger sister now traveled. And so one day they were inside the car, they were going in the church. Normally she would follow them to the church. But this particular day she wasn't in the car. And so the man's youngest child started crying, and like she was really crying, she was crying profusely, and they were like worried, and they were like, what is wrong? They had to park the car to, attend to her to say what is wrong and all that. The baby, the child is a little child. The child now said, I'm missing my auntie. And that was how the man went ballistic. I started shouting, is she your mother? Is she your mother? Why are you missing her? What are you missing her for? Am I not here? Why are you missing her? Is she your mother? Will you stop that? She said she had never seen that man angry before, that he was shaking. And that was the first time she was going to realize that man was short-fused. He was shaking, he was angry, he was upset, he was visibly shaking and all that, shouting and shouting at the little child. And that she had to say, calm down, this girl is a small child. That is... it's possible that she has an emotional attachment to her auntie, because since her mom died, the auntie has been taking care of her, and this auntie is supposed to be your sister. You get? So what's the problem there? She said that had happened, and then she said last week Sunday, they went to drop the children in the house like they would normally do in the man's house, like they would normally do, and then the man would change and then follow her to her own house. So she said that this child now held on to her, and this child started crying and said, auntie, I want to follow you to your house. Auntie, I want to follow you to your house. And the child was crying. The man exploded again. Was like, why are you crying after people? Why are you crying after people? That's how you will go to your school. Somebody will come and pick you there because you are crying after people. She said she felt pained, like she didn't understand that. Like this child was holding on to her. And this child is supposed to be your child. And I'm supposed to be getting married to you in a few months. If I'm supposed to be their mother, taking the place like I'm supposed to be their mother, are they not supposed to be connected to me? Shouldn't you be happy that these children are getting attached to me? She said because she had actually started getting emotionally invested in those children, that she had started doing things for them that she feels like, a mother should do for their children, because she also has a child. I mean, she had a child, she had a child who was already grown up, so she knows how to be a mother, you understand? So she felt like she had started doing things, making sure that she bought the children gifts on their birthdays, celebrate their birthdays, buy things for them on Sundays, make sure that there are goodies, in her bag for the children and all that. That she felt that shouldn't he be happy that the girl is getting attached to her? She felt really bad. She said she felt really bad. Again, she asked again, when am I going to come to your house? Sometimes when she asks that question, the guy will just clamp up and just say, I'm going to my house. That kind of a thing. We just shut down everything and just turn things around. Obviously, this man didn't want her to have a relationship with his children. This man wouldn't allow her come inside the house. This woman doesn't have a relationship with the man's sister. So I did say, okay, do you have a relationship with his friends? Do you know his friends? She said yes, that the man introduced two friends to her, and those two friends that they were introduced to her because the man wanted her to get a job for the friends. So he was always pressuring her that, and what about the job I said you should get for my sister? That's the sister who is the younger sister now. What about this? What about the job that you're supposed to get for my friends? Things like that. So, I mean, the man was always on her neck for her to try to get a job for the friends and get a job for the sister. So that was what he was always trying to do. So I think when she went to the therapist, one of the things that the therapist asked her was that this relationship that you are in, is the man asking you for money? And she said no. The man doesn't outrightly ask her for money. So this is what he does. The man knows that she has this uncontrollable hyper empathy. So what the man does is that the man will rant and rant about things. So there was a time he came to rant about TV. There was a time he came to rant about a rechargeable fan. There was a time he came ranting about a shop that he wanted to take two shops. There was a time he came ranting, but I didn't have money for the two shops. I had money for one and all that. He knows that whatever he rants about, Jane will sort it out. So he was always ranting. He would not come directly to ask for money, but he will keep on ranting about that particular thing until that lady solves the issue. Jane said that she earns like 30 times his salary. So she has a lot of money. And the guy knows. So the guy doesn't directly come to her to beg for the money, but the guy will keep on ranting. So she found out that she started spending like 50% of her salary on this man and the man's children over one issue or the other. It will just come, this rant. The children have spoiled the television. She will buy TV. Rant. Her children have spoiled this one. She will do this. She will get the thing. So she was always buying stuff for his children, his house and all. There was a time the guy came and said that he needed to pay rent, and she was like, rent? Like, you told me that you own this property. The guy was like, yada, just twisted everything upside down. And so the man started ranting again about how he has spent his money to pay the children's school fees and things like that. And then this lady had to drop the money for his rents. Now, he's not asking directly, but he knows how to get her. He knows how to manipulate her to get money out. He knows that she has a particular condition, and he knows that if he keeps on ranting, she will bring out money. Of course, she was single. She was the only one living in her house. She didn't really have anybody she was supporting. A child was in another state. A child is independent, living in another state and working. You understand? So her child is not dependent on her. So whatever money she earns, and the guy knows that she earns like 30 times his salary. So whatever money she earns, whenever the guy will just come and rant about things that he needs to buy and all that, and then the lady would transfer money and stuff. She said that in the course of this, their 11-month relationship, if she wants to be conservative about how much she has spent in terms of cash, not gift or some other things that she has done, not some other things, like in terms of cash that she has given to this man, in terms of transferring money to him and stuff like that. She said she would have spent 10 million naira. That is, if she's being conservative, she would have spent like 10 million naira. Another thing that she learned about this guy is that the guy is always shouting. That when she tries to talk to the guy, that no, you don't need to shout to talk. You can talk in a more decent way. The guy will be like, you are the one making me do that. You are the one making me shout. You are the one making me do this. You are the one. You get always turning everything on her. She now said that she told the guy at a point that, look, we are Christians and we are workers in the church and we're not supposed to be intimate. We're not supposed to be sleeping with each other. How can we say we are workers and then we'll be doing this if we're not married? And the guy was like, hey, we're in a relationship, and that if we're in a relationship, we should be able to do this. We're in a relationship, we should be able to do this. And she will be like, oh no, she doesn't want to do that again. She doesn't want to commit fornication again. And then the guy was like, hey, if you don't want to, then there's no relationship. So the guy had been doing a lot of, all those other things. She said that there was a point where she said, oh, she didn't even want to use her wigs any longer, and then she stopped wearing high heel shoes, and then she stopped wearing that there were some bags that she didn't want to use any longer, because of course she had money and she could buy things. And then the guy was like, that I would like my sister to have wigs, wear your clothes, the clothes that you have, if you're not wearing them again, you can give my sisters, you can give them your shoes and your bag and your wigs. So she said she wasn't comfortable about the clothes, but she was able to give out shoes and bags, like 15 pairs of shoes, bags like 8. And that because she couldn't give her wig, she felt, look, I've used these wigs. You understand? She couldn't give her wig. She went to buy new wigs for them. The list of which was 150,000. She went to buy new wigs for these people, for these ladies, this elder sister and the younger sister who do not have conversations with her. She said that the man took it home, but I mean, she never got a thank you or anything from the sister. So she doesn't know whether the guy actually, came out to the sister to tell them that, oh, it was my babe that bought these things for you, but she didn't get a thank you or anything. Said then in her house she has this nice set of pots that she uses. The guy was like, oh, this is the kind of set of pots I would like, and the guy wanted to take the pot. She had to go and buy new set of pots for the guy to be using in the house that she has not been allowed in. Imagine, so many things like that. So many things that the guy, tries to manipulate her on. The guy, anything that the guy sees with her, the guy wants it too, and wants it in the house, or wants it for the sister. So, she's thinking to herself that this guy has helped her to open up, that they go out, get her to go out, because she doesn't mingle and she doesn't really have friends. So this guy gets her to go out and they leave her. Sometimes he comes and says, let's go out. Though at the end of the day, sometimes or most times when they go to the restaurant, she ends up paying for the date too. But that, because of that, she's been going out. So she's afraid to be lonely. She's afraid because she doesn't want to be lonely. She feels like, look, she's invested like a year in this guy. Another thing that she said is that this man is very protective of his children. Firstly, protective of his children. And for him, his children are never wrong. So in situations where his own children have issues with the children of his sister, he would say these things like, my children cannot do that. It can only be our children that will do that kind of a thing. And that sometimes she says, this person that you're talking about is your sister now. You cannot be talking about your sister's children like that. And then she said that the way he talks about his children, she's sure that she cannot scold those children genuinely. Like, if she marries this man, she won't be able to scold those children genuinely from her heart like a mother will do. Because anything that, the guy just doesn't want anything around his children, doesn't want any negative thing around his children. So for him, even if the children are doing anything wrong, he doesn't want anybody to correct them except him. You get? So she's afraid that, if she goes to marry this guy, is this guy saying that she won't be able to even, in good faith, punish these children when they are wrong and things like that. But I think that one is even jumping the gun, because what I see, I don't see that man marrying her. And I remember telling her that I don't see this man marrying you. Somebody who wants to marry you would open themselves to you. So I don't see this man marrying. Obviously, he's manipulating you, trying to get money out. And there are men like that. Men who prey on lonely, matured, single adults who have money. I think that the man profiled her from the moment she started talking to an agent about getting a property. The man already profiled her like, good, gold mine. You get? I don't think that this man is ready to marry her, because how can you be dating somebody who has never opened the doors of his house for you to come in? Somebody whose sisters live in that house. And another pointer to the fact that there's a problem is that she said that the eldest daughter of the widowed sister doesn't like her. That you could tell from that one's face that she doesn't like her. And I told her, this is Jane now. I told Jane, I said, see, the other people are pretending. You see that eldest daughter, whatever she throws at you, however she reacts to you, is the way a mother would react to you normally. A mother is pretending by greeting you and saying, good morning, madam, condescendingly. A mother is pretending. So that girl, the eldest daughter of the widowed sister, is the one that is showing you the true color of what they are saying. Because obviously they will have discussions in that house about her. They would have discussions in the house about her. And if they have discussions in the house, they already know that you are dating this woman because you're always going to this woman's house. You're always with her. They already know. And they have not come to say, our wife, come inside or anything. Obviously, they know. Like, no, there's no way they've not discussed you in that house. There's no way. You come every day, they see you, they know that he comes to your house, so they know that he's dating you. And they would have had conversations about you, like, who is this? And if they have not come and drag you inside to say, our wife, what are you doing inside the car? Come inside. Or the younger sister who goes to church with you on Sunday sometimes has not come to say, auntie, come inside now. The man doesn't want you. It's written all over. The man doesn't want you. And I told her that. She said she just needs somebody to tell her, because she said, I think what she's afraid of, what Jane is afraid of, is she's afraid to be lonely. She's afraid to go back into that routine of come back from work, sleep, go to work, go to church. And she said that she feels like in the last 11 months, she's come out of her shell, you know, loving the man and loving the children and all that, and that she's confused. Because what she said was that, most times, you know, when you're not the one going through issues, it's easy for you to go into the comment section of somebody and say and give advice and procrastination and say, this is what I think you should do. But when you are going through the issues, you might see it, but you might want to detach yourself from it, but not actually really see it. She said she knows that she's a smart woman, and I know she's a smart woman because, like I said, we had conversations. I know she's a smart woman. But you know, when it comes to this love thing, I think because she's lonely and she doesn't want to go back to being lonely, she's clinging to this relationship. But I don't think there's a relationship here. This man is using her on all fronts. Because I would ask a question, like men would ask, what does this man bring to the table? What? Nothing. He comes to eat your free food, stays in your house. He does much. You're intimate with him. You serve him that, easy stress that way. You serve him dinner. He comes to your house. You give him money. In the last 11 months that you people have dated, apart from gifts and other things that you bought, the raw cash money that you gave to him, you would have given him, she said she would have given him about 10 million naira. Of course. The guy is digging for gold. That's all he's doing. He's a gold digger, and he's doing it in a nice way because he knows that he can manipulate this woman to do it. So he's manipulating her. He knows that he will do it. So what is this man bringing to the table? Nothing. Why do you want to, because of loneliness, you want to settle for this kind of man? This is, see, it's not just flag. It's a very big red cloth, really red map, everything. Yeah, how would you be dating a man for 11 months now and he won't allow you to come into his house? Not his sitting room. He will leave you inside the car. If he's out of that car, if he goes inside his house for 1 hour, he will leave you inside that car for 1 hour. His sisters have not come and say, our wife, come inside. His children cannot come to your house. He doesn't want you to be close to his children. And then he's collecting money from you. He wants you to get jobs for his friend and his sister. And he's collecting money from you. You are doing a lot. You are using all your money to settle his bills, to settle his problems inside his house. And he has anger issues. These times that you have said that when the child does something, when the children do something, and that baby has been doing something, keeps on shouting and vibrating. You understand? I don't understand. He has anger issues. He doesn't even listen to you. And you bring up issues to discuss, and he doesn't want to discuss that issue. He will clamp up and then get upset and says that he's going to his house. And then he won't call you, and you will be the one to have to call him. Part of the things that this lady said. No. Jane, this isn't the man. I wrote some things down because I didn't want to forget this thing. So I wrote some things down. And these are the things I said. I said, 1, there's lack of transparency and trust issues. He never lets you into his house. But he expects you to financially contribute to the house that you cannot step into. His sister and his niece clearly do not acknowledge or respect your role. That is if you have a role at all. That is if you have a role. Because for me, I don't think he's told them that he's interested in marrying you. There's no way that he would have told them and they'll be that cold. There's no way. Another thing, he wasn't upfront about his housing situation and manipulated you into helping him with rent. Anger and control issues. His reaction to his children's emotions suggests impatience and unresolved emotional issues. He expects you to initiate contact after arguments, which is a form of emotional control. It pressures you into intimacy, making it a condition for the relationship, and you accept it. You're allowing her have emotional control over you. And like I said, what does it bring to the table? Financial dependence. You earn more. And it indirectly makes you feel obligated to assist him. It creates a pattern where you keep solving his financial problems while getting little in return. You worry about being alone. But is loneliness worse than being in a draining relationship? Because this relationship will drain you. It will drain you emotionally, drain you physically, drain you financially, drain you spiritually. I tell you, is it worth it? Because you are lonely. A beautiful relationship should add peace, love, and emotional security, not cause you stress, fear, and financial strain. It shouldn't. I had a conversation with you, Jane. You're a very smart woman, very intelligent woman, well spoken to. You need to acknowledge yourself that you deserve better. You need to. You also need to detach from this man and set boundaries. So you also need to explore healthier ways to combat this loneliness. Jane, loneliness is real. I understand you. But staying in a toxic relationship is not a solution for that. So you need to look for different things to do. You need to consider expanding your social circle. You need to make friends. You need to join professional groups, travel clubs, mentoring programs, something. You need to do that. You need to mingle. You need to, make friends, join a travel club, something, join groups. There are groups that you can join. Just look for something else to do to take away your time from just sitting there at home, work, home and all. Do some other things. Volunteer for some things. Go to motherless babies. Being single at 44 is not a failure. It's not. It's an opportunity for you to live life on your own terms. You already raised a child, built a career, and created a stable life. You don't need to settle for a man who adds more burden to you than joy. You're not too old to find love, and you're not destined to be alone, and you deserve peace. And my final word is that if you choose to walk away, know that you're choosing yourself, and that's the most powerful decision that you would ever make. So I urge you to choose yourself. So guys, what do you think? Jane will be in my comment section. I would like you to put what you think about this situation in my comment section. Please comment. Please, let's engage. She really needs to listen. Interestingly, Jane is one of my subscribers. Jane will be waiting to hear from all of us. So I want you to engage. I want you to tell us what you think she should do. Should she wait for this man? Do you think that this man is in love with her? Or do you think that she should just leave? What do you think? Please kindly write it down in the comment section. It's very important that you drop your comments. Jane is one of us. Every time she watches videos and she drops comments, now she needs you to come through for her. And you can only do that by commenting so that she will know the next step to take. I believe that would support Jane on this. So drop your comment in the comment section. What do you think that Jane should do? I'll be in the comment section waiting for you. Till next time when I come your way again, my name remains Busola David. Bye.